When my husband passed away, I thought my world had ended. For nearly 30 years, we had built everything together. Our home, our family, our small chain of local hardware stores. But what we built most was a life filled with love, laughter, and long nights planning a future we believed we'd share forever. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more heartfelt stories about love, loss, and redemption. Every week, we share emotional tales that remind us how fragile trust can be, how deep pain can run, and how forgiveness can heal even the most broken hearts. Broken Heart. By subscribing, you become part of a community that believes every story, no matter how sad or tragic, carries a message of hope. Crescent moon sparkles. So hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay with us for the next story that will move your soul and touch your heart. After the funeral, the house felt too quiet. Even the walls seemed to sigh in the absence of his voice. I would wake up expecting to hear him humming in the kitchen or reading the newspaper at the table. Instead, there was only silence and the faint ticking of the old clock we bought when our son, Ethan, was born. Ethan was my only child. Brilliant, confident, ambitious. A man who had inherited his father's drive, but not always his kindness. He'd moved to the city years ago to start his own business, a tech company that quickly grew faster than I could ever understand. We spoke less and less as time went by. He was always in a meeting or too busy. Still, I was proud of him. Every mother wants to see her child fly higher than she ever could. But pride can be a fragile thing. After my husband's passing, I discovered that his will had been straightforward but deeply thoughtful. He had divided his assets in a way that would keep me secure. The savings, the stocks, and most importantly, a small portfolio of properties. Among them was a modest but valuable commercial building downtown, leased by several businesses. At the time, I didn't pay much attention. I wasn't interested in investments or profits. I just wanted peace. I let the property manager handle everything and simply receive the income quietly. Years passed. Ethan's company expanded rapidly. Every magazine seemed to feature his face. The young CEO who built an empire. I saw the interviews, the cameras, the smiles. And though he never mentioned his parents, I felt proud anyway, until one evening, I decided to visit him. It was a cold Friday afternoon when I arrived at his sleek glass office building. I hadn't told him I was coming. I just wanted to surprise him. Mothers do that sometimes. When I reached the front desk, the receptionist smiled politely. "Do you have an appointment?" I hesitated. "No, I'm his mother." Her smile faltered slightly, but she made a quick call. A few moments later, Ethan appeared, handsome in his tailored suit, but with a flicker of annoyance in his eyes. "Mom," he said, forcing a smile, "you should have called." "I wanted to see you," I said softly. "You look busy." "Always," he replied, glancing at his watch. "I've got about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's all my son had for me. Still, I followed him to his office. It was modern, minimalist, and cold, much like the tone in his voice when he started talking about his work. "How have you been, Mom?" he asked, typing something on his laptop as he spoke. "I'm doing all right. Just trying to adjust," I said. "I've been thinking about selling the house. It's too big for me now." He barely looked up. "Maybe you should. Downsizing is smart." I hesitated. "I'm not sure where I'll go yet. Things have been a little tight financially." That got his attention. He looked up, eyebrows raised. "Tight? You mean you're broke?" The way he said it, half amused, half disbelieving, made my heart ache. "I suppose you could say that," I said gently. "I don't have much income apart from the rent from your..." He cut me off with a laugh. A sharp, dismissive laugh that stung more than any insult could. "Mom," he said, shaking his head, "you should have told me. But honestly, maybe it's time you stop trying to manage money. You're not exactly business-minded. The words hit like cold water. I smiled faintly, trying to hide the hurt. You might be right. He stood and walked around his desk, placing a reassuring hand on my shoulder. Don't worry, Mom. If things get worse, I'll take care of you. You won't end up on the street. I wanted to tell him I wasn't asking for help. I wanted to tell him that I had managed things just fine all these years, that I wasn't helpless. But something in his tone made me swallow the words. Thank you, Ethan. I said quietly, that means a lot. A week later, I received an email from my property manager, Mrs. Turner. Just a reminder, the lease of the 11th Avenue building is due for renewal. The current tenant, Elysium Tech, has been an excellent client and is requesting an extension. Elysium Tech, that was Ethan's company. I stared at the screen for a long time, rereading the name. My son, the one who just laughed at me for being broke, was renting my building. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The irony was too cruel and too perfect all at once. I didn't say anything immediately. I wanted to see what he'd do when renewal time came. 2 weeks later, Ethan called. Mom, he said briskly, my company's lease is up soon, and the building owner's apparently raising the rent. Can you believe that? I might move to another space. Really? I said, keeping my voice calm. That sounds stressful. It is. I've been trying to reach the owner through their management company, but they're impossible to deal with. Some old lady who probably doesn't even know what she owns. An old lady. I bit the inside of my cheek to stop myself from laughing. I'm sure she's doing her best, I said softly. Maybe try being patient. He sighed. Yeah, well, patience doesn't pay the bills. Anyway, I'll figure out. When the call ended, I sat at the kitchen table for a long while, staring at my teacup. This wasn't about revenge or pride. It was about something deeper, about how easily success can make a person forget where they came from. My heart ached not for the disrespect, but for how far away from me he drifted. When the lease renewal meeting came, I attended in person. Ethan had no idea. The property manager arranged the appointment under my instruction, saying the owner would be present. The look on his face when I walked into the conference room was priceless. Mom, he said, standing up in shock. What are you doing here? I smiled gently. Good morning, Mr. Turner. I believe we're here to discuss your lease renewal. He blinked, clearly trying to process it. You're the owner? Yes, I said. I have been for the past 8 years. Silence filled the room. You could almost hear his pride crack. Finally, he let out a shaky laugh. Wow, I guess that's unexpected.